Okay, so me telling you to not teach yourself how to play guitar may be a little exaggerative. However, I do want to help you avoid the mistakes I made while I was learning to play guitar. As you can probably tell, the first mistake that I've actually just recently corrected is I didn't practice long enough. I've recently implemented a 24/7 practice schedule and the benefits have been incredible.
Oh, hey. So I'm totally joking about the new practice regimen. I don't practice 24/7. I usually take a day off, typically on Sundays. However, I did make a ton of mistakes while I was learning how to play guitar, and I think if you watch this video, it's going to help you avoid some of these big mistakes and ultimately just make you a better guitar player and really just make you enjoy playing guitar more as you move forward into the future. Let's go and get into the video. My mom bought my first guitar for me in 2008. I was probably 12 or 13, and it was a Squier Stratocaster with a sunburst finish, along with a Marshall MG15 practice amp. And I actually think I may have made my first mistake in the music store that day. My mom asked me if I wanted to take a few lessons just to go ahead and get started, learn the basics and such. And as a kid with pretty horrible social skills, I turned down the offer just because I didn't want to be left alone in the music store with a stranger for an hour a day. I'm wholeheartedly convinced that not taking those lessons may have led to me going home, trying to figure out how to hold the pick, how to pluck certain strings, and ultimately getting frustrated and putting the guitar in the corner for about a year. So if I were to start playing guitar all over again, that would definitely be the first mistake I would try to avoid. Even if you don't want to commit to a ton of lessons, I think a few sessions when you first pick up the instrument will be incredibly beneficial for pretty much anyone, and it's just going to get you started on the right foot and help you avoid picking up bad habits. Although I do know that in-person lessons aren't necessarily an option for everyone, the good news about that is there are plenty of resources online. Personally, I can recommend anything from Rhett Stoll or Paul Davids. They both have several resources for beginners and intermediates, so definitely check that out. If we fast forward this story a year or so later, just by circumstance, my family found a guy who was willing to come directly to me, to my home, to teach me how to play guitar once a week. And while I don't really remember how those first lessons went, I do remember focusing really heavily on technique, on how to hold the guitar pick, how to fret strings, and then finally I learned my first guitar riff, the intro to One by Metallica. Learning my first riff was really awesome, but I think that may have actually been the beginning of the next mistake that I would avoid if I were learning guitar all over again. I think that learning how to play songs in the early stages of learning an instrument is incredibly important. As a matter of fact, that was the main way I learned how to play guitar. I was just learning to play songs from my favorite bands, and the whole time I was learning different time signatures and different guitar tunings, different picking techniques, and really just how musical ideas come together. And I didn't know I was learning any of those things because, like I said, I was just playing along to my favorite songs. However, only learning songs left a really big gap in my music knowledge, and it was something that my guitar teacher did not know to teach me, and that was any sort of really practical music theory. It is entirely possible to play music your entire life without knowing any type of music theory. However, as someone who has been missing out on it and has been trying to catch up on that, I think that having a good grasp on a really practical music theory will do three things. It will help you learn songs faster, it will help you better communicate with other musicians, and it will eventually help you more effectively write your own music. But like I said, I've been playing guitar for about 13 years now with no sort of music theory knowledge, and like the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. For some reason, picking up on these ideas is much harder for me now than I think it would have been had I started learning it right out of the gate. Hope the scenery change doesn't throw you off. I kind of just thought it would be cool to finish where we started. So if we fast forward our story another 10 or 11 years, the final mistake I want to talk about in this video revealed itself to me. In my early teens, I played in a metal band that took on several different names. However, one thing that stayed the same the entire time I was in that band was I was the only guitar player. Like I said earlier, with playing with songs, I think playing with other musicians is one of the most important things you can do as a growing musician. Learning to keep time with a drummer and bounce musical ideas off with other people was one of the most rewarding experiences I've had as a musician. However, I think that if you're playing in a band where you're the only guitar player, then as a guitarist, you're not getting the full jam experience, if you will. My sophomore year of college, I started playing with a couple of different bands, and in all of these bands, there was another guitar player. Playing with another guitarist meant I had to learn how to either play high or play low, but I could not do both. It was actually playing live with another guitar player, not recording music, that taught me that the mix of a song goes far beyond just the way different instruments play along with one another. You can also have the same instrument, say a rhythm and a lead guitar player, and you have to write specific parts with those instruments that play along well with one another. Having another guitar player to tell me if something I was playing wasn't really gelling well with what he was playing, or vice versa, really helped my ability to pivot on the spot and play something different, and that was really where I saw a lot of growth as a musician. And not to mention, like I said earlier, playing with other musicians and playing with another guitar player really just drove home the fact that knowing some really practical music theory would have helped a ton whenever I was communicating back and forth with those musicians. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy the video, please do hit that like button as well as the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.